Bill O'Reilly.
Hello, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I am Father Christmas, as you described me a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Speaking to the nation.
Yeah, you're like, you know what you are? You're like Bing Crosby, who we later found out beat his children.
Thank you. Very nice. But, Bing, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
Maybe he should have been nicknamed Bang.
Bang Crosby. Bang Crosby.
Right. Anyway.
Yes.
I would like to speak to start this off with Nervous Nellie. Is she in the studio there?
Yes, she is. Mm-hmm. She is.
Okay.
So let me just go through this list with you one by one. And they're the things that have happened. And I would like your perspective and your opinion on what's real, what really matters, what doesn't.
All right. Father Christmas is standing by.
Okay, hang on just a second. I want it in two different categories. I want what's real and matters in geopolitical or in real terms, and then one politically. Okay, so something may not make a difference at all geopolitically, but politically it makes a lot of difference. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's start with the resignation of James Mattis. Last night, the president, or yesterday, he said we're pulling out of Syria. That is basically going to be an extermination order for the Kurds. And James Mattis was upset that he didn't know about it. According to his letter, there's some light between the two of them on how we treat our allies. He's very respected. Does it matter, Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, it matters, sure. And by the way, I was in the White House for an extensive period of time on Wednesday. So
we saw a picture of that.
Know that, and I had a pretty good inside view of a lot of things. So Mattis is a very successful defense secretary. I think he had enough of the chaos. That's the key word in this discussion today. CHAOS, chaos. And there is. So Mattis, very disciplined, 4-star Marine general. I think that he differed on policy with President Trump, but I think those differences could have been dealt with. But I don't think that Mattis wanted to be told, what was going to happen, and that was that. So I think that's why he left, and he was an excellent defense secretary. Disassembling ISIS, huge victory. I hope he writes a book about that and explains exactly how that happened. Very important. So we'll miss James Mattis. The country will.
Does it make our allies nervous?
No, because our allies don't really file into effective foreign policy for America. There's really nobody right now that's helping us, to the point that Tony Blair did with Britain in the Iraq War, that kind of a thing. Australia very loyal to us, but the Allies are basically looking for their own stuff, and I'm not really concerned about them.
Okay. When it comes to,
can we get an importance level, but Bill, high, medium, or low?
High. Mattis is going to be hard to replace.
Okay. Let's go to Syria, pulling the troops out of Syria. Here's what Lindsey Graham said as a big supporter of Donald Trump.
If Obama had done this, we would be all over him as Republicans. We made a good record that the decision to withdraw from Iraq was not based on sound military advice, in spite of it. He did it himself, which he has every right to do, but he needs to own it. And I don't think General Trump is going to be any better than General Obama.
This is the BillO'Reilly.com Man of the Year.
Yep, Lindsey Graham. Absolutely.
Your thoughts on Syria?
Yeah, my view is 2,000 special forces in Syria were effective there in protecting many innocent people from harm. That's pretty much what their role was.
Mm-hmm.
So the president made it clear he doesn't want U.S. troops on foreign soil unless, it's a national security situation. This is not. I am not that upset or worried about 2,000 troops coming out of Syria.
Is Iran a national security concern?
Yes,
you've just handed the region.
No, Beck.
Yes, you did.
Just relax.
All right.
This is Nervous
Nellie.
Nellie.
Be back in there in 16 hours. We have bases around the area where American forces are stationed. We have air power that can hit that place very hard and very quick. So if Iran were to do something that was dangerous, we could very quickly affect that. Trump just didn't want these guys sitting there.
They're not.
So he's moving them around. We're not pulling out of the region.
As somebody who has helped move tens of thousands of Christians to safety, this is the most reckless thing I've ever seen a president do. Possibly only beaten by Obama.
All right. We have a little bit of a disagreement there. I think that if anybody started to slaughter Christians, that we would be right back in there very quickly.
So importance level would be low there, Bill, or medium?
Moderate.
Okay.
Because it's a ripple effect. It did have something to do with Mattis resigning. Mm-hmm. I think the Department of Defense is not happy with President Trump. That's not a good thing. So whereas I don't see it as a strategic move that's going to harm the country directly, the fact that it was done this way is not good for the USA.
So let me give mine as well.
Okay.
Mattis, I agree with Bill. High. Syria, couldn't disagree more with Bill.
You went high, right?
Very high. Mm-hmm. This should be interesting. Border and giving $5 billion to Mexico. He folded, and now he listened to his tribe, and he is trying to reverse that. Tell me your thoughts on the border and the $5 billion to Mexico.
All right, what's the $5 billion to Mexico?
$5 billion. What it was is we said we're going to give $10 billion, no border wall, and we're going to give $10 billion in aid.
Are you talking about giving them economic aid?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there's a new president in Mexico, and Trump apparently has a pretty good relationship with him. And the NAFTA deal helps the United States economically. So he wants the guy to do us favors, the new president of Mexico. He wants him to do us favors. So he's basically backing away from the punitive aspect of U.S.-Mexico relations. Unbeknownst to the public, Mexico helped with this migrant caravan a lot. And that has not been out there. It's not been put out there. So very few of these caravan people got into the United States. Very few. And Mexico's paying for them to sit down there in Tijuana for the rest of their lives, I guess. So there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. Now, the bigger question is the PR debacle of the president waffling on the wall. And, that's a political thing. I would have said to the American people, I need 2 months to solidify this wall and get a marketing campaign so that you understand why this wall is absolutely necessary. So I'm going to extend the spending until February 8th. But if February 8th I don't get my wall, then the government's going to shut down forever because we're not going to do it. That's how I would have done it.
Me too.
Because of the stock market. And then I would have delayed it a little bit instead of just one day saying, all right, I'll accept no money for the wall. And then the next day after Ann Coulter ran around the White House on fire saying, oh, nope, I'm reversing, because that makes President Trump look weak.
So importance level, high, moderate, or low?
Very high.
High.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Because of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
The stock market is the big story.
Okay.
That's the big story.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back. I want to hear about the stock market.
And I also want to know, is this a big story on the border because of political or actual effect to all of our lives, or a combination of both?
All right.
Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly. Bill, we have the border issue. Do you say it's very, very high because of politics? Rate them separately. Politics and geopolitical politics.
All right. So geopolitical is more important than politics. I'm not a real fan of doing anything for political reasons. So you've got a nation, Mexico, which is pretty much out of control, all right? So cartels run a lot of what happens in Mexico. And we know that from the trial of El Chapo going on right now in New York City. Everybody's bribed down there, and tons of narcotics come into the United States every year, tons. And what is it, 75,000 people dead in 18 from drug overdoses? And that's probably about half of the deaths, because they say they die of congestive heart failure, all of that stuff. So you got this narcotics just flooding into the country, changing neighborhoods, the expenses in the tens of billions of dollars to deal with these people. Just that alone, you need a wall. Why? Because it makes it a lot harder for cartels to get massive amounts of drugs in here. They have to funnel then everything into the ports of entry, which are getting much more sophisticated in finding the drugs hidden in the trucks and all of that. So just that alone, you say you've got to build this barrier. And then the people smuggling it makes it much more difficult for the coyotes, which are the nicknames of the people who smuggle the people in, charging the people, the poorest people in the world, about $3,000-$4,000 to do it. Makes it much more difficult for them to do that. So therefore, the wall is a worthy enterprise, should be built, and anybody who's against the wall, I have never heard a rational argument, not once. Oh, well, it's not a good PR. It's not good optics. You know what I mean? It's Christmas, so I'm not going to say it. On a political front, Donald Trump look weak.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Let's go to the stock market. Worst December for stocks since 1931.
Right. If this continues, Donald Trump is never going to be reelected. That's number one headline. He has to have a robust economy going into the 2020 vote. And I mean a really good economy. So the stock market going down, even if people don't have stocks and bonds, ripples out because everybody's afraid. Everybody is the corporate chieftains. They're afraid. And anything could happen. A recession could happen. Their companies could not earn as much money, and therefore they'll be fired. The chieftains will be fired. Fear is driving that market down. Now, can it turn around if Trump makes a trade deal with China and the government shutdown thing gets solved somehow? Yeah, that could come back up. I'm not selling. I don't have a lot of stocks anyway because in my position in life, I'm more interested in stability than I am in growth. So the stock market is the story because every single American is going to be affected if the stock market continues to decline.
So importance very high on that one.
They don't get any higher than that.
I agree with him.
That's it.
I agree with him. That is the key to everything. If the economy falls apart, everything else is just a domino. The Russia letter. Well, let's get into that in a second. Let me go to bump stocks. The president has just created a new rule out of thin air that bump stocks need to be banned, and within, I think, 90 days or 4 months, you're going to be a felon if you own one.
You know, I'm not a gun person. I don't really understand a lot of the intricacies of that. My philosophy is that public safety is number one in America. If the people think that eliminating bump stocks is going to make it a safer country, okay, I'm for it. If that's a bunch of bull and it's just an optics thing, then I'm against it. But I'm not really the kind of guy who can give you an incisive analysis of all that gun stuff. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I believe that people have the right to defend themselves. I don't think they need a bazooka to do it or a mortar to do it or live hand grenades in the garage, all right? But then you go down the list. If somebody lives in a rural area and they want to have an AK, I don't have a problem with that. But I think that everybody should be able to buy the guns in an orderly way, and the authorities should know who has the AK. All right? So that's really my overall view of it.
And that's a totally honest analysis. I appreciate that. I'm wondering, Bill, if you have a thought on how it happened, right? Like, would we be okay with Obama doing it through essentially a rule change or / executive order? There was no law passed.
No, but Obama did that 50,000 times, as everybody knows.
But did we like it?
All presidents do.
I know, but this is a constitutional piece, and we shouldn't accept that from Obama or Trump or anybody else. No.
Then somebody should raise the issue in a way that it could be voted upon.
I agree.
I'm for that, by the way.
Low priority, though, on that one, Bill?
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay.
All right. Back in just a second, more Bill O'Reilly. We get into Russia and Kavanaugh and so much more. Father Christmas in a minute.
You're listening to Glenn Beck.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. If you've missed any of it, you want to go back and listen to the whole show today. You can get that at glennbeck.com or wherever you find your podcast. But the show started with something really, really very funny, and then we talked about Mattis, and then we've brought on our weekly spotlight on the professor, the egghead, Bill O'Reilly, who can set us straight on everything that is happening in our world. And we've been talking about all of the things that have happened that have not necessarily gone in favor of President Trump in the last few weeks. James Mattis resigned last night. We're pulling out of Syria and Afghanistan. With Afghanistan, I agree with Syria. I think it's crazy. The border debacle. North Korea, we didn't mention. That fell apart. The Dow is down 4,000 points in the last 2 months. The president came out with an executive order banning bump stocks. Let me start here just quickly because I don't think this is worth that much conversation. Are you concerned on what happened with Kavanaugh in the last couple of weeks where he ruled in favor of Planned Parenthood?
No, it's a technicality, I think. Kavanaugh trying to signal his judicial independence. That didn't concern me that much. The way the case was presented was not the way it should have been presented, in my opinion. I mean, the basic Planned Parenthood deal is this organization should not be receiving government funds. That's what should be ruled upon. And Texas needs to basically reorganize, refile the litigation, and just put that up front.
So priority low on that one. That's
no, but it's
reassuring.
It's a high priority in the sense that why is the federal government forcing people who do not believe in abortion to pay for it?
Yeah, the issue is a big issue, but the Kavanaugh part of it, you think, is lower priority.
That's been very concerning.
He was virtue signaling that I'm an independent guy. I'm not, just going to go along with whatever the conservative movement wants.
Okay. And the last one is the Russia letter that shows that there was a business deal, an agreement to explore building Trump Tower, and it was a pretty extensive letter signed by the president, also co-signed by somebody he said he couldn't recall the name. He didn't even know who that person was when he was asked about it by the press. This is something that he specifically denied several times. Tell me about your thoughts on that and its importance.
Well, I don't really know what the denial concerned. As a private citizen, Donald Trump made deals all over the place, and letters of intent were very, very common. And I don't know whether he paid attention to it. I don't see any deception here. I just don't see it.
Okay, hold on. Before you go too deep, let me give you your words just a few weeks ago when we talked about this.
Right.
Go ahead and play this.
If
there is a letter,
and he did sign it,
does it matter?
Yeah, that would matter, because if there's a letter of intent to build a condominium in Moscow, that's a business dealing. So that would matter.
Okay, so even if because this is interesting because I buy into the letter, and I don't think that
where was the letter reported?
I don't think it's going to.
Where did this come from?
Seen it in several places.
October
28th, 2015 was the date. It was the date of the third Republican presidential debate. And I think this is an interesting one, Bill, because it's one of those things. Everyone can throw out these accusations. This one should be provable. If they have the letter, they should be able to show it, right?
Yeah.
If they have the letter, it should be in the Mueller report when it comes out.
It would have been leaked a long time ago. If Cohen had a letter, and Cohen would be the guy.
Mm-hmm. But he was the guy just yesterday. Just yesterday came out and said, "Okay, yes, I did lie about this too."
So, all right, so here's the thing. I don't really care. I get to the point on this when the facts are out, then we'll be able to comment on it. Yeah. I'm not holding the letter out as because I'm not talking about. I'm only talking about politics here.
Don't use the word lie and fall into the trap of all of the hate Trump media. Look. Listen to Father Christmas.
Okay, stop. So now that was you a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, and the problem with this stuff is the definition, and now you go back to Bill Clinton. All right, so a letter of intent to do something is not doing something. Mm-hmm. And so Trump is going to hide behind, and I'm not sticking
this
up
is
for him,
just so you know, for definition's sake. This is an LOI, a letter of intent, and it says pages. That throughout the 16 pages, it's LOI.
It never came to fruition. So when Mueller asked Trump, "Do you have any business dealings, or did you have any business dealings with Russia?" Trump, in his mind, and again, I'm not justifying it, says no, because we never signed a deal, we never began construction. We never put money in there. They never gave us money. It was just an exploration, a letter of intent. Now, if it were me and somebody asked me, I would have said 8 months ago, whenever it came up, yeah, we were looking at trying to do something there as a private citizen, and it didn't come about. So that's what happened. That's what Trump should have done. Why he doesn't do these things, I don't know. I don't know. He creates problems for himself. But is it a felony?
No, I don't think there's.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think there's that.
It's the continuation of Donald Trump not articulating in an effective way.
No, it's more
isn't lie
against him.
Isn't lie fair here, Bill? I mean,
it is fair.
Look.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a lie. If the guy didn't do it, and I know in his mind he's going, I didn't have a business dealing with him.
Right.
In his mind, that's what he's saying.
But the intent here, while he was on stage saying, I don't know any of these people, I don't have anything going on, he was briefed 3 times about the progress of the intent to build. In fact, Putin's own office was involved back and forth with his people. So what the spirit is, are you an honest broker? Do you have anything that we should know about with Russia? Yes, you should know that I'm trying to build a deal, but that doesn't change anything.
That's totally fine.
This whole no, I don't have anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Is just
in his mind. That's the truth. Is it the real truth for everybody?
Okay, so hang on just a second.
He should have said what you just said.
Is Bruce Jenner
negotiations a bill before I got into politics?
Is Bruce Jenner a woman?
All I know is that I believe Bruce Jenner was promised a condo in Moscow.
He's colluding. Okay, so Russia letter. I mean, because I think you're where we are on this, in that I just wish he would make it easier for everybody.
I'm with not just you, but I think the American people would like a president, all right, who is straightforward.
Yeah.
All right, he didn't rationalize answers, but who is that person?
Right.
I'm a presidential historian. I mean, 90% of them rationalized everything. Mm-hmm. They don't want to put out stuff that makes them look bad. Trump's memory, I don't even think is any good. All right? I mean, who knows his capacity for all of this stuff? I don't. It's not a big deal to me. I think the biggest story of the year is the organized cabal that wants to destroy his presidency. That's what I think the biggest story of the year is. And they may well succeed.
Wait. How do you mean?
You have three powerful entities lined up to drive Donald Trump from office. Mueller, the establishment media, and the Democratic Party. That's a lot to fight. And they all three are working in concert, Beck and Stu, to drive him out of office or to injure him so badly that he cannot win re-election. They're acting in concert.
I think
wiping clean of Strzok and Page's phones by people in Mueller's office, you know that story.
Yes.
Proves that beyond a reasonable doubt. Three of them are after him. And I don't think he can stand up to it. I just don't think he can.
See, I think he could.
Is another reason that the stock market is in decline.
Yeah, I will tell you that I think, Bill, you are correct based on the last few moves of the president. If he loses his base, if he doesn't live up to his promises, and he's not rock solid,
toast.
Coupled with the economy, he's done.
I believe it'll be built somehow.
Yeah,
Bill. I think what's interesting.
Before we leave, and I know you're up against a break because you got to have money to do cross.
To put you on for free every.
I know.
Not paying me.
I am the most. Father Christmas is a benevolent force, and that's why I do this free.
But I'm doing it for free.
For my book.
Giving you the plugs
and all that, so it's very nice of you. But are you coming to my neighborhood in your little truck on your cross-country thing? Because I want to host you, Beck, if you come to Long Island. No,
why would I? Why in God's green earth would I select anything near New York?
Many Beck fans are here.
Oh, I know that, and I'm trying to get him to move to Texas.
Your little truck across the Washington Bridge, and come down to Long Island, and where are you going? What's the itinerary?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, I see.
I mean, if you are indeed Father Christmas, you'll know where I am.
That's true. I'll be up above your head in a sleigh.
Yeah, my kids are saying, I don't think Bill O'Reilly is real. And I'm like, we're going to test it. We're going to see if he finds us this Christmas. Bill,
I want you to have a good time.
You too.
Stu, I'm sure you'll have an exciting time dunking into the eggnog or whatever you do.
I'll be doing that. I'll be reading Killing the SS. I'm very excited about that.
Amazon ran out of copies. So many copies were sold, they ran out. We had to drive copies over to them.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But I appreciate you Killing the SS. If anybody is a historian or likes history, great gift.
Yep.
You still have the signed copies, Bill?
All of Beck's books are great gifts.
Do you still have the signed copies, Bill, on the website?
Yes, we have signed copies. We can't get them to you for Christmas, but if you'd like them.
No, you drive them over for Amazon, but you won't drive them over for the listener. I get it. There's Father Christmas.
If I had a list, I would, So, anyway, I hope you guys have a really nice Christmas.
Too.
It's very nice of you to put me on the air every week.
God bless you, Bill.
I'm doing it free.
I'm giving you the airtime for free.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's nice. And Beck, I hope you're not driving. I hope you have a driver.
I am driving.
Not you.
I am driving, and I will tell you.
You're going to be behind there?
I am behind the wheel, and my wife thinks it's a horrible idea, and my kids are freaked out of their mind.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And every time you gas up and you get out of that truck, people are going to go, Colonel Sanders!
Wow. I'm wishing you a very special 2019, Bill. God bless, Bill. Thanks a lot.
All right. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Bye.